Going to be talking about Kyani today. That's Kyani, K-Y-A-N-I, and I'm Pat Sheranian. My guest is Larry Barkdull. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
I want to share something with you that's the most exciting experience that I've had health-wise in the past 15 years. In July 2010, I had the opportunity to start using the 3 Kyani products every day. Within weeks, the medication I was taking for adult onset diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol were no longer needed. I now experience normal blood sugars, blood pressure, and cholesterol, and have for the past 14 months. My life has changed, all for the better, and I'm so grateful for that. Plus, the pain from arthritis is gone, and I have the energy of a person years younger. It has been amazing and wonderful. And if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, give Kyani a try. It's 100% guaranteed. Please contact me in our chat room at pat.utahvalleylive.com or leave your name, phone number, and request at this phone number, 801-362-9552, 362-9552. Well, Larry, let's tell them about it.
All right.
Okay. Well, let's start right at the top, and you've got some suggestions of what this is and how it is, and we're network marketing, we're not direct sales, so let's talk about that.
That's a great thing. You know, I'm a professional writer, and so this is not really my industry. I had to take a really hard look at it. I was introduced to Kyani for a number of reasons. I was interested, at least, in looking at it because I was trying to fund a nonprofit venture that I've been involved with for a number of years. But with the economy the way it is, it's been very difficult to find donation money. And so I was actively looking for some kind of a funding vehicle that could bring the money independent of trying to go to donors all the time. And that search led me to Kyani. And when I looked at it, I thought, oh, it's a multi-level company, and I was quickly corrected on that it's not multi-level. It appears a little bit like one. It is a network marketing company, but it has an interesting new model. I had a friend of mine, her name is Mary Louise Zeller.
She's going to be on tomorrow.
Yes,
she's going to be here tomorrow.
Our common friend, and she and I talked a little bit. I'd known Mary Louise for a long time. She's a very interesting woman. She's the 20-time United States Taekwondo champion and the 9-time world champion. So I've always known her to excel at anything she gets involved with. I also know that she has tried to do network marketing a number of times in the past and has failed, just like all the rest of us had. And now suddenly she's at the top of this company called Kyani. And that's K-Y-A-N-I. I'd never heard of it before.
You have to spell it again.
K-Y-A-N-I, Kyani. I said, what does that mean? And she said, it means strong medicine in the Tlingit tongue. I said, what's a Tlingit? I felt like I was in Star Wars or something, you know, Kyani, Tlingit. The Tlingit people are an indigenous tribe of Alaska people. They don't like to be called Eskimos, evidently, so I had all these things kind of going through my mind. But the Tlingit people seem to be one of the most healthy groups of people in the world. They have no cancer, no diabetes, no heart disease, no arthritis. And Mary Louise explained to me that even in their vocabulary, they don't have words for these things. And there was a very long study that was done among them of why they are so healthy. And I'll get to that in just a minute. So that kind of intrigued me that we were dealing with something that was extraordinary. And Mary Louise, she's an interesting woman because I don't know of very many people who have studied or written about health or health products more than she has. I mean, she reads.
Did she write a book?
Yeah, she's written a book on anti-aging.
Okay.
And she exercises a lot, but she's right at the top of her sport, Taekwondo, which is intriguing because she's she's now 68, and she's the oldest living competitor in her sport, and she's an Olympian.
And I heard that they've given her a name, a nickname.
Oh, what is it? It's Grandma Ninja or something like that. Something like that. It's endearing until you get in the ring with her.
Right, then you're scared. I heard that.
But she's, anyway, what I'm saying is that it's very difficult to work Mary Louise Zeller. And so if success is within reach, she will reach it, and she couldn't reach it in these other
In the other
companies.
companies.
In these other companies. And yet in this company, she had finally excelled at something, and not only excelled, but she was right at the top of the company. And she said, you know, the reason that this has happened is because Kyani is structured in such an interesting way. Well, that intrigued me, so I was willing to listen. And you have to understand that I'm a writer, and writing is a very lonely profession. Basically, I sit in a very quiet room with a computer and research books, and I type out words all the time.
I've known Larry for about 28 years, and he loves being in a cave.
Well,
So this was different for you.
this was very different for me. I had, you know, and I can see that there's a question here from a viewer who wants to know a little bit about my foundation. I've been involved in a number of different kinds of things. Right now I'm working on a library of information. It's a very large library of information that we're trying to put on the internet. But we also have done some humanitarian things. We've done a lot of things with the arts. And so I've got a number of things that I've got my fingers in, but they're all expensive. That's the bottom line, is
Everything costs money.
yeah, it's very difficult. We can get volunteers for a number of these, for a lot of this, but there are some things that are very skilled, and we have to bring in people who are trained in order to make some of these kinds of things
Well, I would
work.
think technical in particular.
Technical, yeah, and so to fund those things and to pay salaries and so forth, it just required a lot of money. And I was looking for this funding vehicle, and the Kyani began to appeal to me because Mary Louise talked with me in terms of how we could take the Kyani business, and it could become that funding engine, and that would allow me to do the nonprofit things that I would like to do in addition to support my family. So, and living on royalties is no piece of cake. It's very difficult, and I have a large family of 10, so there are a lot of demands. So I took a hard look at Kyani. And I allowed Mary Louise, because I trusted her, to take me down a road of discovery. And I had been in business for myself and knew, it's not that I'm such a great businessman, but I do at least know what elements have to be in a business, otherwise they're going to fail. Now, maybe I should tell you a little bit about the network marketing industry. The network marketing industry, as I understand it, since its inception, which was probably back in the, 1940s or 50s or someplace in there. Isn't that
Are you
right?
asking me if I know personally, Larry?
Well, some of the early
Yeah, I know personally.
some of the early ones would have been Amway and Shackley,
Right.
and some of those. But anyway, so that was kind of the idea of
There was one called Beauty Counselor that I know was working about in the early or late 40s.
Right. So it was being experimented with back in those days, and then it emerged, and it became a very interesting model for distributing product.
Right.
And allowing people a home-based business opportunity. And since the inception of this, as I understand it, there have been about 3,500 to 4,000 companies that have emerged.
Are we talking just in the U.S.?
In the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
Okay, worldwide.
That have used the network marketing model to distribute products. And as we speak today, about 45 of them actually exist.
Still?
Yes.
You mean the rest of them have gone away?
That's right. So there's a very high mortality rate.
Can I ask a question here that I get asked about this? And you're using the term network marketing, and then there's direct marketing, and then there's something called pyramid schemes.
Oh.
And people
Yes.
seem to get all of those confused.
Yes. Well,
Can you clarify that, or just a little bit at least?
a direct marketing company would be something where I'm purchasing the product from the company at wholesale, and then I'm building a clientele of people, and I'm reselling it, and I'm making the margin, the profit margin in between, and so I'm getting as the salesman, I'm getting the lion's share of the profits that are available. So like if I wanted to be in the broom business or something like that, I would go make a deal with a broom company and I'd buy the brooms at wholesale, and then I would
Sell them.
get a license and I'd become a legitimate business, and then I would go resell the brooms. But I would probably be pretty much on my own. I wouldn't have a team built around me. I wouldn't have much support. It's just my own, uh, initiative. Uh, a pyramid scheme is truly a scheme. Those things, of course, are illegal. Um, usually isn't a product involved, or either that or the commission structure is built in such a way that it's paying out at like 1,000%,
Right.
and it's impossible for anybody to make money at it. They're basically all the money is flowing one direction, and that's up to the company or the schemers. Okay, but the network marketing industry is highly regulated. It's not only internally regulated, but it's regulated by every state in the union, and there are regulations that govern it in every country of the world.
Which I might add right there, getting into another country is an amazing experience because you have to be licensed sometime on one product, not another. Sometimes you can get licensed to sell direct in a country, but you cannot sell network marketing. And so I understand it's just step after step after step.
Yes, there's
Very difficult.
a lot of compliance, and a company will look at $3 to $5 million in several years to even get into a country. So
It costs the company.
Just upfront money just to try to get into another country. But it's kind of the same way, not as expensive, but in every state in the union there are laws that every attorney general is going to impose upon network marketing companies in order to keep them legitimate, so that they don't step into some arena that even approaches that pyramid kind of thing. So their compensation plans, their products, everything has to be looked at very, very carefully.
So out of all of these that have been there for so many years, you're down to just 45.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. And this is one of the things that I ended up with 4 things that I wanted a company to be.
Okay.
Otherwise, I just felt like I couldn't lend my name to it. First of all, it had to be well financed, with owners that have integrity and capacity. So they needed to be honest, capable owners that were very well, that could bring a lot of money to the table. And in any business, I don't care where you are in the world, that's going to be the #1 reason why companies fail. They don't have enough.
They're not funded.
They're not funded well enough. And in network marketing, these companies tend to grow very fast, and the compliance issues are very expensive. And so if they're not very well funded, they're going to collapse.
Right.
And so you can see by the statistics already that most of them do collapse over time.
Well, sure.
Yeah. And even if they're really well funded, then the next thing is that they don't have a product line that's going to stand the test of time. In other words, if it's just a fad, if it's not consumable, if the science doesn't hold up, if you can duplicate the product someplace else, if you can do any of those kinds of things, could cause the product line to collapse. So the product line has to be something that's consumable, something that's absolutely unique, proprietary,
Right.
and it has to be something that has enough science behind it so that it can stand the test of time and not just be some faddish thing that comes and goes. And in other words, if you're just getting a product line that's just an excuse to have a company
To make some money.
then it's not going to hold up very well. And then the next thing it has to have is it has to have a fair and an adequate way to pay its sales force. And this is something that the network marketing industry has never, ever, ever proven before. On paper, it looks like you're supposed to make money, and it looks like that you can make money. And in actuality, if you do the math on it, you can't make money. And so consequently, in the network marketing industry, you have this very difficult, believe me, there's some good news that's coming. I'm giving you all the bad news right now. But there is some good news coming. But in the network marketing industry, the industry statistics are between 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 people will leave a network marketing company in the first 6 months.
And we've been there.
We have, all of us have been there. And there are a number of reasons for that. Maybe the person's just lazy. Maybe they're incapable. Maybe they're disinterested. Maybe they're undisciplined. It's hard to say. But if the person cannot make money, they're going to leave. Why should they stay?
Right.
And the last thing is there has to be opportunity for growth. If you're in a business that's already saturated, why should you do it?
Right.
In other words, if you're trying to make money, and let's say you're in the stock market, do you buy Microsoft stock when it first comes out, or do you buy Microsoft stock 20 years down the road? You know, so timing is everything.
This company is how old?
This company started in 2005, but for the first couple of years it was infrastructure and product development. It opened the doors to distributors in 2007. So it's not very old, just 4 years old. And as companies go, there's always this kind of slow growth in the beginning as they're building up steam, and then suddenly they hit this point where it just goes exponential and grows very, very quickly. So Kyani is at that breakout point right now where it's growing at about 25 to 30% a month. But there is an interesting positioning situation in this, and maybe we can talk about that, about where Kyani sits in the industry right now. It's about a very unique
Let's talk
position.
about that. I'm going to go back because then we need to pick up. You need to finish off about your organization, your nonprofit organization, your funding that you're trying to fund. We left Mary Louise hanging out there, so we need to tie that together.
Okay. Well, Mary Louise was the one who brought me down the road of discovery, and I think every person that gets into this is going to have some mentor who's going to help them answer their questions.
That, for me, has been the biggest difference. People have signed me up. I've run companies. I've watched people go out and try to do things by themselves. Some have, but most can't. And one of the most impressive things about this company is the teamwork, the absolute teamwork. And I'm going to jump right in and just say what happened last Friday. Do you want to tell that?
Oh.
Because you're the top of that pile. Now, we haven't even talked about product yet. We're just talking about the industry and the business end of it. And this company has offered some amazing things.
Really?
Like the return to the distributor is totally amazing because the people that own the company, the three couples that own the company, they've already been very successful, right?
That's correct.
So they weren't trying to make more money. They're trying to change the health in the world.
No. Well, okay, let's start at the beginning then. Let's start with how Mary Louise worked me through this, because I was a hard sale.
Okay, let me give out a phone number first. If you are interested in knowing more about Kyani, the number to call is 801-362-9552. 801-362-9552. Also, if you're watching us, there is a chat room, and we'd like you to use that. Ask questions, make comments, let us know you're there. Just type in your name. And we're happy to answer your questions if we're able to. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so this is my personal story, okay? And it may not be everybody's story, but by and large, as I've talked with now hundreds of people over the last 14 months since I got involved, their questions are typically the same. We know that they're making a business decision. Sometimes they're making a product decision. Sometimes it's purely for health. But if they're making a decision that I need to make some extra money, I need to and I'm going to go into business. I'm going to make a decision where I'm going to run a little business out of my home. Then they have to have some questions answered that are very much similar to the questions that I had. So the first one has to do with the owners. These owners, and in other words, are the owners stable enough, capable enough that I can go to work and I'm not going to have to worry about them making a stupid mistake or going broke? And
the worst thing that can happen, bring a lot of distributors in and then they don't get paid.
And you're saying, somebody might say, well, is that possible? It was possible for me. I tried this a few years ago. I actually did really well with it for a couple of months. We had a couple of hundred people in our group, and we were doing really well for the company.
That happens.
As it turns out.
As it turns out.
And one morning I woke up and the company wasn't there. So it happens.
We've all been there.
And now that you understand that have been 3,500 of these things come along, and 45 of them are still standing. I'm not talking about the new ones that might be emerging right now, but 45 of them that have actually stood the test of time and are still functioning. Then you start to see that it's very possible and almost and very probable that the company that you're working with is not going to be around. So,
which is alarming when you've put a lot of money into it and
yeah.
a lot of energy, and you're out on the outside somewhere not knowing what's going on.
Well, yes, it was very discouraging for me. I have to tell you something, that when I did this before, and I was with that other company, I won't name the company, but when I was with that other company, I was so devastated by that, and I had taken people's money. They were signing up with me, and I had to go borrow money to pay those people back. So I not only lost my income and the business that I was growing at that time, but I had to go pay people back so that I could keep my integrity.
Well, there's a credibility issue here also.
Yes.
You trusted, you trusted the company, and they trusted
Right.
you.
So it's a legitimate question: are the people that I'm working with, are they honest? Are they capable? Are they financially sound? And these people, these three owners of this company, are three very wealthy families that come out of the Idaho Falls area. They have old, substantial companies that are right at the top of their individual industries.
Long before they got in this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And none of them come from the network marketing industry. One has one of the largest oil and gas companies in the 9 western states. One has I think the second largest potato ranch in the United States, and they supply, I think, most of the potatoes for McDonald's. I mean, so there's some credibility there, and then there's another one that came from the franchise industry. So diverse industries, but they have come together. They pooled their money for Kyani.
Substantial money, I might add.
Yeah, it is substantial money. Now, because I'm a writer, one of my friends comes from the Idaho Falls area, and we did some writing together. So, and his father happens to be a state senator in Idaho. So I called him up and I said, I'm thinking about getting involved in this company and Kyani, and you know, these families are from your area. Do you know them? And he says, well, actually, I grew up with two of the families for the last 20 years. And so I got this very high level endorsement of these people coming right out of the chute, that these are honest, capable, and substantial people who are capable of creating $1 billion a year company. So that made me feel better that I was with good people coming out of the chute. The next thing that Mary Louise talked with me about was the product line. Now, you have your testimonial, I have my testimonial about the products. I have to tell you something, I had to learn a new vocabulary when I got involved with Kyani. This is health products. You know, I mean, I like chocolate cake. And
chocolate ice cream. And anything chocolate.
So I've not been real careful with my diet, you know, and if I needed a vitamin, I'd run down to the grocery store and get a vitamin and take it, and I would pretend like it was doing some good. So, you know, that was kind of the extent of my health. I kind of didn't want to be bothered by it.
Well, she has a degree in biochemistry, I think, doesn't she?
I think she does.
Yeah.
So she began to throw these terms at me. So, but let me just tell you the basic way that I understand. No, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, so and I had to learn how to say some words. But these, my understanding is the Powell family, one of the owners, has done a lot of vacationing in Alaska. So this is how Kyani began. And they became acquainted with a very long study that was being done among the Tlingit people.
Okay, now we're back to the Tlingits.
We're back
okay,
to the
you're going to explain the
Tlingits,
Tlingits.
and the Tlingit starts with a T, T-K, Tlingit. And in this long study, scientists were trying to discover why these people were so healthy. No heart disease, no cancer, no diabetes, no arthritis. And after 10 years, this is the Reader's Digest version, after 10 years they finally discovered that it was their diet. And their diet consists of the Alaskan sockeye salmon and the wild Alaskan blueberry. So then the study shifts over to those things. So what's the big deal about these things? Well, it come to find out that the Alaskan sockeye salmon, because those fish eat a different kind of a diet up there, and they also live in very pure, probably the purest waters left on the earth, have the most powerful form of omega-3 in the world. Now I knew something about omega-3s. I knew some health benefits of
Well,
those.
I knew that pregnant women weren't supposed to be involved in fish oil because it has mercury in it, and that was one of the cautions that I first learned about years ago.
Yeah, so if you run down
ago.
to the grocery store and
Right.
get your omega-3s, then you would want to
Yep.
avoid those because
Fish parts, and it's got mercury in it and some other things.
right. So as much as you would like to take those omega-3s, they're not all created equal. So you can run down to the grocery store, but you ought to read the label at least of what you're getting. And you can get them for pretty cheap. It doesn't cost very much. Or you can run down to the health food store and you can get a better quality, and you'd pay a little more obviously for that kind of a. But anyway, so if you were look at a scale, and you can go on the internet and look at this, of where's the best quality omega-3, and it's gonna keep coming up those Alaskan sockeye salmon. This is the most pure, powerful form of omega-3 in the world, and it's going to give you all of the benefits that omega. And there's hundreds of benefits of why you should take omega-3s. Right now, I've got some kids with ADHD. Right now there's some studies that have been done by some very prominent institutions, hospitals around the world that are showing that the omega-3s are in some cases more effective than the medicines that they give the kids for.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's good for depression. It's good for ADHD. It's good for all sorts of things.
It's good for your hair. It's good for your nails. It's good for aging. There's another whole level there. Very good.
There's this whole variety of things for omega-3s.
Okay,
I'm gonna bring them out.
I'm gonna grab one right here. This bottle. Okay. In fact, I should open this, shouldn't I? So you can see what it is. Okay, keep talking. I'll get this open.
Now, omega-3s, and this is another part of the science that I had to learn. Omega-3s have to be preserved, in a form of vitamin E. Otherwise, they'll go rancid.
Right.
And so, but again, I thought, well, a vitamin E is a vitamin E, and vitamin E's are not vitamin E's. The vitamin E's are actually broken up.
Okay, I don't know if you can see these, but it's a small gel cap. Can you see that at all? It's just a very tiny little gel cap. It's a little orange gel cap, and this is the omega-3. This is the oil.
Yes, and the coating on them allows them to be dissolved in the intestine, so you don't get that burpy taste of fish. But
they're great for crazy legs. If you can't sleep at night and your legs are nuts, they might work for you.
So, of this family of vitamin E, the most rare and also the most powerful part of it is called tocotrienol. Tocotrinol. Oh boy.
It took me a month to learn to say that, tocotrienol.
It took a long time to learn how to say it.
See, Ron, I learned to say it,
tocotrienol. I just would suggest that you go search this thing on the internet. It's amazing. Tocotrienol. Well, the tocotrienol is, if you look it up on a legitimate medical website, you're going to see that it's going to be a lot of articles, probably thousands of articles, that talk about anti-cancer and anti-tumor. It's very interesting because, in a tumor in your body, the way the thing grows is it steals blood supplies from all the cells around it. And so it becomes a life of its own by stealing.
Oh.
And the tocotrienol has this very interesting ability to sever the blood supply.
That's interesting.
And it shrinks it. And there's a lot of science right now about tocotrienols. Well, one of the problems with tocotrienols is you can't find them very many places. They're very rare. And in nature, the only place that we found them naturally so far is in the annetto bush seeds in Central America. And they're very famous Chinese-American doctor, Barry Tan, who discovered the tocotrienols in the annetto bush
Didn't know that.
a number of years ago. And he developed the patented process for extracting them, and that patented process has been licensed exclusively to Kyani.
Ah,
So
okay.
this product right now is a one-of-a-kind product. You cannot duplicate it any place in the world, and the combination of the most powerful form of omega-3, one of the most powerful forms of omega-3, preserved with the tocotrienols makes this superfood.
Great.
And the benefits are too numerous to talk about. But outside of the immediate benefits that you would feel, what's going on behind the scenes is all this wonderful protection against cancers and tumors. And when you think in terms of of American males, 1 out of 2 is going to have cancer in his lifetime, and American females, 1 out of 3 is going to have cancer in her lifetime, then I would think that we would probably be interested in taking a product that only costs $32 a month to get that kind of protection.
And that's less than you would pay.
Oh.
And as I said early on in this, I was diabetic, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, crippling arthritis. I started taking these products. Within weeks, I had a reaction that was so positive that after a month, I was off of 4 medications. That was 14 months ago, and haven't taken any since. I would not be without any of these products. So can we move to another, or we're going to run out of day?
Okay. All right, so we'll move along here.
Okay.
Very, very, very I cannot overstate the power of that product. If we built the whole company around that one product alone, we would
would all win.
That's right.
Health-wise and otherwise.
The blueberry, this is our little blueberry, and you've got the big bottle there.
This is the Sunrise Kyani, and this is hard to put in my purse. And to travel with this, because it's 30 ounces and it's heavy. It's a heavy bottle and it's gorgeous. By the way, didn't we just win an award? Kyani just won an award?
Or I can't remember what it's called, but it's the most sexy bottle or something like that.
It's a beautiful bottle. But it comes in these little packages so that you can put it in your purse. And this is an ounce, which you take every day, right? 3 of those at night, or dinner, or before you go to bed. And I take this during the day. And I take this a couple of times during the day because I like it, number one. And we're going to have our morning shot right here in front of everybody. Okay, this is a peel off the top. It's got a little thing there. It peels off. I cannot talk while I do this. So
just squeeze it in. Delicious.
That is so good. If the product you are drinking tastes so bad it tastes like medicine, you need to switch what you're doing. But besides that, the benefits are amazing. And it has, what, 10 superfruits in it?
11.
And 11 on top of the Alaskan blueberry that grows wild on the tundra. Hence, they call it wild blueberry.
The wild Alaskan blueberry. I think that probably most of our viewers know that that the blueberry that we would be familiar with, is one of the more powerful antioxidants in the world. But the wild Alaskan blueberry has been measured between 5 to as much as 20 times the power of a blueberry that we would be familiar with.
Because of being on the tundra and the extreme weather.
It's evolved in this very extreme climate, and so consequently, it's become just packed with vitamins and minerals. It's almost like this perfect food, and you could get all the vitamins and minerals and everything that your body needs in 1 ounce of this a day.
I know.
You can quit running to the grocery store and getting the Flintstone guy and
and all the others.
Yeah.
This is loaded with minerals and vitamins, and I want to comment on that. I have been trying to lose weight for years. I was a New York model at one time in Los Angeles, and then sat down behind a desk. So I couldn't figure out why I couldn't keep the weight off. I have started losing weight now. If you need to lose 50 pounds, come work with me on this. This product works. Because of the minerals and vitamins, my body's happy. I'm not hanging on the refrigerator door. I'm not looking to see what's to eat now because I'm getting the right nutrients. And I guess I just have never done that before, no matter what I've taken. So the balance in this has been absolutely amazing. I take this in the morning and this in the evening. What else do we need to say about that?
Well, I didn't understand a lot of these terms, so I went to a doctor friend of mine who lives close to me, and it has. He was talking. I said I don't understand the science very much, and he said, well, let me just tell you a little bit. He said when a medical doctor first goes to medical school, one of the first things he learns is that free radicals cause inflammation, and inflammation causes disease. So you can trace substantially every disease to some form of inflammation in your body, and all of us have it.
We see when we hurt our ankle, we can tell if we bump an arm, we can see the inflammation.
Right.
We don't see what's inside.
Right. We don't see it in
But
our
it's
veins
there.
and arteries
But it's
and
there.
things, but it manifests itself as high blood pressure, cholesterol. It manifests itself in all sorts of different ways. But he says anyway, so that every disease that you've got, substantially everyone, you can trace back to inflammation in your body someplace, and inflammation causes, has been caused by free radicals. So I said, what's a free radical? He says, it's like rust. You're like your body's rusting.
That's a good way. I don't want to hear this, Larry.
In other words, there's an oxidation process
Right.
that's going on in your body. And I said, how does that happen? He said, it can be anything. He said, it's stress. It can be the diet that we eat. It can be the pollution that we breathe in. He said it can be exercise. Athletes, sometimes you hear about these athletes that just drop over dead. They should be some of the healthiest people in the world, and they drop over dead. And why is that? It could be because of all the free radicals, because
Wow.
they're building up inflammation in their bodies. Good athletes understand this, and so the good athletes will take a very powerful antioxidant to combat that, because when they exercise, they're throwing off all these free radicals in their system, and if that gets out of hand, they're going to get inflammation someplace, and it usually affects them in their circulatory system someplace, and they drop over dead with a heart attack.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but in this product. In fact, all of these products that we're going to talk about right now, they are some of the most powerful antioxidants in the world. And as fruits go, can I say that? Okay.
You're the writer. You got the vocabulary.
Of all the fruits in the world, I'm still not saying this well, you're going to see that the Alaskan wild blueberry is going to stand at the top of that antioxidant list. Extremely. So you start to see why these Tlingit people are so healthy. Because they're taking these things that are so powerful for their systems, and they're antioxidants. In other words, if you can keep the inflammation out of your system, which is what they're going to do, then you're not going to get a disease.
And that's why they don't have any.
It's as simple. It's not rocket science. It just took 10 years to figure it out. and it's. But these are astonishingly, and that's how Kione began. The Powell family looked at that study and said, how do we get those products out of Alaska and make them available to the world? And that was the beginning of Kione. And then they added one more product, and that's the Nitro FX. Are you going to lift it up, or am I?
I'm gonna find it here.
Okay. Now this product came from a 1998
This
study.
is amazing.
This could be the most powerful of the bunch. This came from a 1998 study in which the doctors earned the Nobel Prize for Medicine. And their discovery was that a molecule called nitric oxide is the molecule of life. It is in every cell of your body, and it's also been linked to circulatory health. And their Nobel Prize was because they linked it to circulatory health.
That's right, 1998.
1998.
Nobel. Three
All
of
right.
them, three scientists, yeah.
So nitric oxide, this is not nitrous oxide, this is not laughing gas. It'd be fun though if we could laugh like that.
No, no, no.
But this is nitric oxide. Okay, there are a couple of problems with nitric oxide as I understand it. One is that at about age 25, your body starts becoming less efficient at making it. So as you get older, you get sicker.
Tired.
You get tired, you get sick, the aging process kicks in, all linked to a lack of nitric oxide. So if a cell in your body does not have adequate nitric oxide, it's going to get diseased, and then eventually it's going to die. Well, if that happens systemically in your body, you're going to have all sorts of problems that start happening. All right,
Okay.
so the other problem with nitric oxide is that you can't go just eat more carrots and get some of it. You can't go find it. Your body makes this, it's a gas. Your body makes it, but you can't just go find it someplace. So the pharmaceutical companies said, well, this is important to the body, so let's go synthesize it then. And they have. They've synthesized it. The problem with those drugs, and they are very good drugs, the problem is that there are a lot of side effects to them. So to find these,
Right, because if it's synthetic product, it can kill you. It does not. It's not a natural product going in your body. So it could really cause some heavy damage. Like death.
So the question is so how can we get more nitric oxide in our system? And the solution came in a very interesting way. There is a plant, and you know the plant, it's the noni plant. And the noni plant, more in the root and in the stem than in the juice.
So not in the fruit part, but in the root and
the fruit part is very powerful, but the stems and the root are more powerful. And you can make a tincture of that. And I think that we don't have this open right now, but you can see it's a bottle and it's just got a liquid inside.
This is a little stopper because you do take this off and then you put the stopper in. And well, I can open this up, and then it goes. You have about 2 of these, and they fill up about halfway.
Yeah, you can squeeze it, and it's going to come up about halfway. That's about 20 drops. You can put 20 drops in your mouth and just swallow it.
Well, I want to mention something here that I first heard, and it doesn't really work for me that way, but I heard that it started out with this product as the synthetic product to simulate this nitric oxide was for heart disease, for people that had heart disease, and it was opening up everything around the heart. And then there was a side effect for men, and it turned out to be for this erectile dysfunction. And people were getting a result from that. So the pharmaceutical company said, forget the heart problems, and they came up with Viagra.
Right.
But there are so many side effects to that it's scary.
Viagra is synthetic nitric oxide. It's a vasodilator. It opens up the veins and the arteries and so forth. But the other nice thing, the other thing about nitric oxide is if you've got the adequate amounts in your system, it's going to scrub off the plaque off of your veins and arteries and make them nice and pliable. So you're going to have a lowering of cholesterol.
That work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going to have a lowering of cholesterol. You're going to have a lower, and if you get those things out of your veins and arteries, then your blood pressure is going to go down. And so by and large, when we give this product to people, they're going to see their blood pressure go down, their cholesterol is going to go down, they're going to have more energy, it's going to go to the molecular level of every cell of their body. And the interesting thing about this is not nitric oxide, but the noni plant, along with the other things that they put in this proprietary blend, it has this very interesting ability to signal to the brain to make more nitric oxide. And then your brain will cause the body to do what it's supposed to do, and by taking this, it floods your system with nitric oxide, and you feel it
almost instantly. Mm-hmm. And it's not caffeine, it's not synthetic, it's all natural. And I have the energy I had without telling all my secrets that I had 20 years ago.
Right.
20 years ago.
Now there are other products that other companies have made that go along with this same kind of science. The problem with those products is about 40% of the people can't tolerate them. They have an adverse reaction to them. So this product has no known side effects. So this product stands alone. in the industry, whether it's a pharmaceutical or whether it's a natural product, that stands alone in the industry as being very powerful with no side effects. So you're going to see the blood pressure come down, the cholesterol come down, you're going to have more energy, you're going to have your body, the cells in your body are going to repair, and then they're going to be defended. And all of these things happen. And when you start doing these three products together, it has an effect on substantially every system in your body. I should mention in the blueberry, the sunrise, that you're getting almost 100% of the value of that. Whereas if you run down to the grocery store or even a health food store and just get a multivitamin, you're going to get 35–40% of it, and you're going to pass the rest of it out.
That's expensive, pass the rest of it out.
It is. It's very expensive. And so you can see that people who are into health can take these three products right now, and it's going to cover pretty much the spectrum of the health concerns that you have in your body. It's very, very powerful.
Wait, there's a question that has come in about low blood pressure. I have found that these products balance the body.
Mm-hmm.
And people that I know that have been involved with this have said they've had low blood pressure, they've had high, I've had high. And the tendency is when you're taking all three products, they balance your body where it's supposed to be. My blood sugars did drop so low that when I call my doctor here in this area in Utah, we found out that I had to get off either the medication or these products. And so I stopped taking the medication, which saved me a great deal of money. And then it's just held normal, It went right back up to normal. So people who have low blood pressure, my guess is, I'm not a doctor, but from my experience of what I've heard, it evens out everything and puts it back in the normal range. So
let me back up a minute. Okay, so what do we have to have in a company?
I have to give out a phone number. We have to give out a phone number. If you're interested in knowing more about the Kyani products, the number to call is 801-362-9552. 801-362-9552. Leave a message. Tell me what it's about, and we'll get back to you. Or there is a chat room. Some of you have found the chat room. Let us know you're there. Just type in your name or a question or a comment. We'd be happy to have that. Okay.
All right. So if you're going to have a company so that you can make some money at it, you've got to have a company that's well financed with owners who have both integrity and capability. You have to have products that are unique and make a difference in substantially everybody who consumes them.
Right.
They have to be proprietary. They have to be consumable. They have to have that perfect combination of those things. And then you have to have a way to pay your sales force that's both adequate and fair. And this is where network marketing as an industry it's always fallen apart in this area. It doesn't work. And the reason for this is that all the compensation plans pay you down to a certain level and they cut you off.
It's a breakaway.
You cannot, it could be a breakaway, it could be a matrix, it could be a unilevel, it could be a binary, it could be any of those things. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to call it, if you look at them carefully, they always cut you off, and you cannot reach deep into your commission pool. All right, so if you're limited, that means it limits your income. If you're limited in reaching your commissions, you can't, you can only make a certain amount of money. All right, now, so if you're the first guy in, you can make a lot of money, so it can make some people money, but all the rest of us are sort of supporting that guy, whoever's the first guy in. And so this is a fundamental flaw in the industry that has never been solved.
Until now.
And the solution did not come easily. The Kyani owners, again, remember, this is not their industry. They came into this industry because they wanted to distribute those products. And they chose network marketing because network marketing has a marvelous track record of being able to distribute products very effectively across millions of people. And plus the fact that it gives other people an opportunity to make money. So they were looking at all of these kinds of things, and one of the big problems that they ran into is our people aren't making money, at least across the board. How can the masses win? That was the big question on their mind, and the solution came to them out of Japan. There was a group of network marketing professionals that had set out to create what they call the perfect compensation plan. And they had to throw out all the other models because the other models don't work. They never have worked, at least not for the masses.
So they wiped the board clean.
They wiped up and they started over with a completely new idea. They identified all the problems in network marketing compensation plans, and they started over, and it took 8 years to figure out the algorithms on this thing. It's a complicated way, and it's almost not intuitive when you look at it. And we don't have the time today to even explain how this thing works, but what I can tell you is that this is the only plan in network marketing history of those 3,500 companies who have popped up over the last 60 years. This is the only compensation plan in history that pays you on 100% of your volume. It's never happened before.
Never. I know that.
It's never, ever, ever happened before.
And they pay, I understand, they pay from the very last person you signed up at the bottom, at the bottom, at the bottom of the bottom.
Down to infinity.
It comes up this way.
You are never cut off from your volume. So we've compared this plan to other compensation plans. And if you were making, let's say that you had a group that was doing $10,000 worth of volume in another company, just name any, I don't care, just throw a dart. And you did the same 10,000 in Kiani, you'd be making between 2 to 5 times the money in Kiani that you would in another plan. Well, what does that mean? It levels the playing field.
It does.
It means that you don't have to be a big professional any longer to make this work. It means that you can be a little guy and just go at it, because the opportunity is now within reach. This is like Netflix is to Blockbuster.
It is.
This is like the iPad is to the PC world right now. This is a reinvention of the network marketing industry, and it's so revolutionary that thousands and thousands of people are joining Kiani, and they're experiencing success.
Well, the first thing, so many have come in as just customers. They just really want to buy the product and feel better. Then the second, they come in and they want to be distributors, and they have a fair opportunity of making as much money as they want to make, which is crazy kind of money. The company has been an amazing company to give back to the distributor. We're going to run out of time in a minute, and I have to have you tell about what has happened in our little group. It has been in my experience over the years, in order for a company to give you a car, you have to be making $20,000 a month, and they then buy a car for you and give it to you and so forth. And very few people ever reach $20,000 a month. Some do. This company last month, in the middle of the month, made a decision to reward everyone that had made 3 little rankings, just a little ways up the line, about $1,500 to $2,000 a month. You tell the story from there.
Well, the Kiani company they're always reinventing the industry. They're very, very progressive in the way that they do things, and that's why we have a retention rate in our business that's about as much as 6 times the industry average. It's remarkable what's going on in Kiani right now. And we're at this breakout point where everything is going very, very rapidly, and I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. But one of the things that they have done for the distributors, so that they make it really attractive for us, is they've taken a car allowance, which is an Audi A4, the car of the year. This is a $40,000 car, and they made it available for the little guy, just coming out of the chute. And you just got one. And
Last Friday, you got one, I got one, Joyce Chan got one, and lots of other people. We just happened to all be in the same line. And that was very exciting.
That's very exciting.
We went to have pictures taken. Mine's all over Facebook. Is yours up yet?
Haven't had time yet.
It's exciting to own a car that someone else has paid for. It's really fun to drive.
That's right. It's amazing to me to drive. This is the most expensive car I've ever had in my life.
And you don't have to put 10 children in it.
And I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay for it.
But typically in network marketing, even in Kiani, the threshold of having that kind of a car allowance was when your team started doing around $100,000 worth of business a month. They've lowered that by 90%. Down to $10,000 worth of volume a month. How easy is that? I achieved it in 3 months.
I achieved it.
You achieved it in 3 months. Joyce, and the thing is, it's within reach of people.
Everybody. Everybody can reach it.
If you want to take the business seriously and go to work, you have this beautiful, nice car. No more car payments for the rest of your life. No more maintenance payments for the rest of your life. Are you kidding me?
If you stay at this ranking of Sapphire, which is the third ranking up, and you do it in 3 months, you get the car. The car is paid off. They continue sending you money for the rest of your life, equaling that car payment.
Absolutely. They're going to give you that payment every single month as long as you keep that qualifying level. And these are the kinds of owners that we're talking about. These people are progressive in their thinking. They're always thinking out there beyond what the industry has done. Now, let me tell you about the position of this company. This is so important to understand, okay? Because this is not another network marketing company. This is a reinvention of the network marketing industry. Okay, if you can go on Google and look this up. How many companies in network marketing history have reached the $1 billion a year threshold?
Not many.
10.
10.
10.
That's
Of
about right.
3,500 that have emerged, 10 have done that. Kyani will be in that top elite 10 within the next couple of years.
Really?
Yes.
They're only 4 years old.
Yes.
It usually takes about 25 years.
That's right. They're going to do it in record time. And that's because these owners they know what they're doing. They've already built $1 billion a year companies. That's all personally invested money. There are no investors that they have to answer to. They are invested. We're in 40 countries around the world. They're investing in the future.
Wow. And
this company right now is breaking out at about 25 to 30% a month, and this is the time to get involved. Right now, this is the time. Timing is everything in business, and this is the time to get involved.
Let me give you a number again, 801-362-9552. 362-9552, area 801-362-9552. Or share with your friends that you're watching pat.utahvalleylive.com. Come and find us. We'll be here every day. And we're most grateful for our audience today. We appreciate our producer, director, technical person, Kent Vorkink, who has put this together. Larry Barkdull, my guest. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. And look forward to much more time together. Larry, by the way, is part of my team, and so is Mary Louise. I'm part of other people's teams who are working with me. And it really works to work in a team.
It does.
So thank you for watching Kyani today. I'm Pat Sheranian, wishing you a wonderful day and a wonderful, healthy life. Bye-bye.